Good day to you. My name is Teacher Arvin, and I am very excited to bring you today's lesson. So set your mind, ready your heart, and brace yourselves, for we will take the journey to discover the week 3 of 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Most essential learning competency in FACAs. Compare and contrast the various 21st century literary genres and the ones from the earlier genres periods, citing their elements, structures, and traditions. At the end of this module, you should be able to compare and contrast the various 21st century genres and the ones from the earlier genres in periods. Specifically, we will focus on the Spanish period. Let's go back first to what is meant by literary genres. I know that we've already discussed this one during the pre-colonial literary period, wherein we've discussed different genres under the pre-colonial. This time that we are already focusing on the Spanish colonization, let us just go back first to the definition of literary genres. Now, literary genre is a category of literary composition. Genres may be determined by literary technique, tone, content, or even, as in the case of a fiction, its length. The distinctions between genres in categories are flexible and loosely defined, often with subgroups. So it means that the most general genres in literature are epic, tragedy, comedy, and creative nonfiction. Now, they can all be in a form of prose or even poetry. Now, additionally, a genre such as allegory or pastoral might appear in any of the above, not only as a subgenre but a mix of or a mixture of genres. Finally, they are defined by the general cultural movement of the historical period in which they were composed. Now, for this lesson, we will focus on the literary genre under the Spanish period. Now, genres should not be confused with age categories by which literature may be classified as either adult, young adult, or even children. Now, they also must not be confused with any format such as graphic, novel, or picture book. Okay? For more than 300 years, the Spanish colonizers ruled the country. They used the cross to persuade and convert the indigenous people to their religion. Not only our nation's history, but also our traditions, lifestyle, and belief systems have been shaped by more than 3 centuries of colonization in the Philippines. This has had a significant impact on our literature as well. There was a shift in interest away from writing about nature toward writing about Christian faith, hymns, saints, miracles, and church teaching. Now, the majority of the writings were religious, okay, religious or secular in nature, with the latter section being the propaganda and revolutionary in nature. During the Spanish colonization, religious subjects were written in prose as prayer books, novenas, saint biographies, and the like. Sinakolo, a popular Filipino dramatization of Jesus Christ's life and times, was presented during Lenten season. Pasyon, the Philippine epic narrative of Jesus Christ's life, was composed in stanzas of 5 lines and 8 syllables each and concentrated on his passion. death or passion, death and resurrection. Dalit or Psalm, another popular song praising God or Virgin Mary, and containing a life philosophy, also gained popularity. Additionally, secular or non-religious literature flourished during the period. These are primary stories of bravery and adventure. They consist of the following: the song or awit, we have the corrido, we have the karagatan, doplo, prose narrative, zarzuela. So we will discuss each one of it as we go on with our discussion for this session. Alright, so let us proceed to the first literary piece during the Spanish colonization. So the first one is the Doctrina Christiana. So what is meant by Doctrina Christiana? The Christian doctrine. Now, this was the first book printed in the Philippines in 1593 in xylography or engraving of woods. Now, it was written by Father Juan de Palencia and Father Domingo Nieva in Tagalog and Spanish. Now, it contained the Pater Noster, Our Father, Ave Maria, Hail Mary, Regina Ciela, Hail Holy Queen, the Ten Commandments of God, the Commandments of the Catholic Church, the Seven Mortal Sins, how to confess, and the catechism. Now, the Doctrina Christiana contains a lot of prayers in it. The Doctrina Christiana, or the Christian doctrine, three old or original copies of the book can still be found at the Vatican, at the Madrid Museum, and the US Congress. Now, it contains only 87 pages but costs $5,000. The second book printed in the Philippines is the Nuestra Senora del Rosario. The second book printed in the Philippines was written by Father Blancas de San Jose in 1602 and printed at the UST Printing Press with the help of Juan de Vera, a Chinese mestizo. Now, it contains the biographies of saints, novenas, and questions and answers on religion, specifically on the Christian religion. Another literary piece under the Spanish colonization is the Berlaan at Josefat. Now, this is a biblical story printed in the Philippines and translated to Tagalog from Greek by Father Antonio de Borja. Now, it has 555 pages. Now, this referred to as the Christianized version of Buddha's life, with Josephat reaching the Enlightenment through the love of Jesus Christ. Another literary piece during the Spanish colonization is the Libro de los Cuatro Pros Primeras de Hombre in Spanish and Tagalog. So this is the first book printed in typography. Alright, so another book under the Spanish colonization is the Pasyon o Ang Pasyon. Now, this is the book about the life and sufferings of Jesus Christ. It is read only during Lenten season. There were four versions of it in according to the name or in accordance to the name of the writer. Alright, so I made mention a while ago that there were four versions of Ang Pasyon or the Pasyon. Now, these are the Pilapil version by Mariano Pilapil of Bulacan in 1814, the De Belen version by Gaspan Aquino de Belen of Bataan in 1704, and the De la Merced by Anisito de la Merced of Norzigaray, Bulacan in 1856, and the De Guia version by Luis de Guia in 1750. Another literary piece under the Spanish colonization is the Urbana at Felisa. Now, it's a book by Bonesto de Castro, the so-called father of classic prose in Tagalog. Now, these are letters between two sisters, Urbana and Felisa, and have influenced greatly the behavior of people in society because the letters dealt with their behavior. Now, ang magkapatid na sina Orvan at Felisa ay nagpapalitan ng liham or letters dahil sila ay magkalayo. Si Urbana ay nasa Maynila dahil nag-aaral ito na sa isang pamantasang pangbabae roon. At si Felisa naman ay binibigyan ng aral ng kaniyang kapatid na si Urbana dahil malayo ito at nasa Maynila. There are many recreational plays performed by Filipino during the Spanish times. Almost all of them were poetic form. Here are examples: Tibag, Lagaylay, The Sinakulo, Panunuluyan, The Salubong or Panubong, Karido or Shadow Play, The Zarzuela, The Sainete, The Moro-moro, Karagatan, Duplo, The Balagtasan, The Dungaw, The Awit, and The Corrido. The first recreation play is Tibag. Tibag, the word tibag means to excavate. Now, this ritual was brought here by the Spaniard to remind the people about the search of Saint Helena for the cross on which Jesus died. Another recreation play is the Lagaylay, a May celebration in Canaman, Camarines Sur to honor the Santa Cruz tradition. Women dance on the streets while chanting prayers to find the real cross. Now, this is similar to Tibag, wherein as early as April, the participating ladies are chosen, and sometimes mothers volunteer their girls in order to fulfill a vow made during an illness or for a favor received. Another recreation play during the Spanish colonization is the Sinaculo. This is a dramatic performance to commemorate the Passion or the Passion of Death of Jesus Christ. There are two kinds, the cantada and hablada. In the hablada, the lines are spoken in a more deliberate manner, showing the rhythmic measure of each verse and the rhyming in each stanza, and is more dignified in theme. The cantada is chanted like the Passion. Now, the Sinaculo is written in octosyllabic verse with 8 verses to the stanza. The full-length versions take about 3 nights of staging. Performers come in costumes with wigs, and performers are carefully chosen for their virtuous life. One performs the role of Jesus Christ and another the role of Virgin Mary. Now, many famous Sinaculo players are come from the Tagalog regions, although there are also those from Ilocos, Pampanga, Bicol, and both in Cebuanon and Hiligaynon. Another recreation play under the Spanish colonization is the Panunuluyan. This is presented before 12 on the evening or the Christmas Eve. This is a presentation of the search of the Virgin Mary and Saint Joseph for the inn where to deliver the baby Jesus. Another recreation play is the Salubong or Panubong. Now, the Salubong is an Easter play that dramatizes the meeting of a risen Christ and his mother. It is still presented in many Philippine towns. Now, this is usually celebrated every April during Lenten season. Another recreation play during the Spanish colonization, we have the carrillo or shadow play. Now, this is a form of dramatic entertainment performed on a moonless night during the town fiesta or on dark nights after a harvest season. Now, this shadow play is made by projecting cardboard figures before a lamp against a white sheet. Now, the figures are moved like marionettes whose dialogues are produced by some experts. Another recreation play during the Spanish colonization is the Zarzuela. Now, the Zarzuela considered the father of the drama. It is a musical comedy or melodrama, three acts which dealt with man's passion and emotions like love, hate, revenge, cruelty, avarice, or social or political problems. Another recreation play during the Spanish colonization is the sainete. This was a short musical comedy popular during the 18th century. They were exaggerated comedies shown between acts of long plays and were mostly performed by characters from the lower classes. Themes were taken from everyday life scenarios. We also have another play or recreation play during the Spanish colonization. We have the Moro-moro. Now, the Moro-moro, like the Sinacolo, the Moro-moro is presented also on a special stage. Now, this is performed during town fiestas to entertain the people and to remind them of their Christian religion. Now, the plot is usually the same that of Christian princess or a nobleman's daughter who is captured by Mohammedans. Now, the father organizes a rescue party where fighting between the Moros and the Christian ensue. Another recreation played during the Spanish colonization, we have the karagatan. Now, this is a poetic vehicle of a social religious nature celebrated during the death of a person. In this context, more or less formal, a ritual is performed based on a legend about a princess who dropped her ring into the middle of the sea and who offered her hand in marriage to anyone who can retrieve it. Now we also have duplo. Now the duplo replaced the karagatan. This is a poetic joust in speech and reasoning. The roles are taken from the Bible and from proverbs and sayings. It is usually played during the wakes for the dead. Another is the balagtasan. Now, balagtasan, this is a poetic joust or a contest of skills in debate on a particular topic or issue. Now, this replaced the duplo and is held to honor Francisco Balagtas or Baltazar. We also have the Dungao. This is a chant in free verse by a bereaved person or his representative beside the corpse of the dead. No definite meter or rhyming scheme is used. This person or the person chanting it freely decides or recites in poetic rhyme according to his feelings, emotions, and thoughts. It is personalized and usually deals with the life, sufferings, and sacrifices of the dead, and includes apologies for his misdeeds. Another literary piece under the Spanish colonization, we have the awit and corrido. Now, awit and corrido, the term awit and corrido are both related to music. Now, awit is the Tagalog word for song, while the Spanish word is the corrido. Now, which means metrical story, usually sung to the accompaniment of a guitar. Alright, so after the Spanish colonization, we have a short period which is named as period of Enlightenment. Now, in this period, there were writers who published books that enlightened Filipino people against the Spanish colonization. Now, with this, they've been moved. Filipinos were moved by these writers. Also, change their life disposition. Now, some of these literary pieces includes the writings of Jose Rizal. Now, one of it is the No Limitang Here, another is Ni Ultimo Adios, El Filibusterismo, Sobre la Indonesia de los Filipinos and Filipinas, Teatro de Cien Años. We also have some literary piece during the period of Enlightenment, some of Del Pilar's writing. Now, we have Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa, Love of the Country, Kaingat Kayo, Be Careful, and Dasalan at Tuksohan, Prayers and Jokes. We also have other literary pieces which was written by Graciano Lopez Heina.